27.1.
So, David, have you ever had a frightening experience on a plane?
Sort of. A couple of years ago, I was flying from Athens to Tokyo. I was living in Greece at the time, and a friend of mine who was working in Japan had invited me to stay with her. I flew overnight from Athens and had a short stopover at Bangkok, just long enough to have a walk around the airport. While the plane was getting ready to take off, there was a sudden flash in one left-hand side engine.
A flash of light, or like an explosion?
A flash of light. No noise, no flames. And the plane carried on moving. Apparently, the pilots hadn't noticed, but a lot of the passengers were starting to panic. They were getting up out of their seats, calling out to the cabin crew, who also hadn't seen anything, apparently.
And what did they do, the cabin crew?
They told the pilots, and a few seconds later, the plane came to a halt. We had only moved a few metres, and then outside the plane, it was suddenly like a disaster movie. You know, flashing lights, sirens, people running around. It was incredible. Some of the passengers were shouting to be taken off.
And were you panicking?
To tell you the truth, I continued reading my book. I mean, there was nothing I could do. About 10 minutes later, they evacuated us off the plane and drove us to a 5-star hotel in Bangkok and gave us a room to rest in and food. Later, the food, by the way, was out of this world. Anyway, later, at 3 o'clock in the morning, we were called to reception to get onto buses.
How long had you been there?
About 10 or 12 hours. Anyway, we boarded the same plane, and yes, most of the passengers were quite frightened as it started to taxi. But after that, we had no further problems, so we finally got to Tokyo about 17 hours late.